Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to give Ed and Holly. I almost said Ed and Ollie. That's habit. Ed and Holly 10 minutes on a app which we won't name to create a poster for a live event. I'm going to give them some generic details. I'll give them as much detail as I had for this particular brief. And it's up to them to prioritise what needs to go on the poster, what doesn't need to go on the poster, what the poster should look like, and give it some kind of manoeuvrability for a potential series. So in case there's 3 more live events or something coming up, they may have to adapt that poster in the future so that it's clearly different but still reminiscent of the same event. So we'll give Ed and Ollie
Holly, my name's Holly.
Sorry.
Holly.
It's habit. We'll give Holly and Ed 10 minutes now, and we won't bore you with the footage. And that's what we'll do. And once they're done, we will come back and I'll go through some of the maybe normal mistakes that they may have made or things they could have done better, which means that if you guys are in a pinch one day and you have to design your own, you'll be able to do it with a little bit more information, or you'll know what to look for when choosing someone to design your posters.
I think I'm going to do really well. Oh, that's fantastic.
Okay, we've just passed the 20-second mark. So you've got 10 seconds left.
Crap. I'll have to organise this now. I think my poster looks very professional.
How'd you save it then? Oh, that'll do.
Breakfast time.
That'll do.
Okay.
That's fine. Sorry.
Breakfast
Yep,
time.
that's fine.
Okay, let me move this. I've got my example at the ready.
Okay.
So this was all based on a brief that we were given. It's not an abnormal brief. There was nothing wrong with the brief. We were given all the event it was for. There was missing information in the name of the charity and things like that. It's quite normal to not have all of the information. If you're organising an event yourself, then you'll know. In this particular instance, the pub chose the charity it was in aid of, and the organisers of the event were only told what it was in aid of rather than the actual specific name. So, if we start with Holly.
Okay. Excuse me. Face the camera. Show you two then the camera, or show? Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Okay, you show the.
This is mine.
Both.
Oh.
Oh, well, I can't.
Helpful, Ed. So that's Edward's, and then Holly's.
Oh, sorry, the camera's that way, isn't it? Sorry. There you go. Should we put? I'll put these in.
Yeah, we'll put them in properly so you can actually see what we're on about.
So should we talk? This is my one then. Should we talk about my one or?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Ed. We'll start with Holly though.
Okay.
Okay. So I like the consistency that you've created with the colour. You've obviously put something over the image to give it a green effect.
I put some
Which
shapes over. Put some shapes over.
Yeah, and you've put
Yeah.
like a transparent-ish
Yes, I have,
screen over
yes.
the image so that it brings some green into the image, which is lovely. Obviously, that's clearly not Amy from Amy and the Antelopes.
No.
How do you know?
It might be, but it would have been
Google
nice
told
seeing
me
as
so.
the headline.
Google told me to.
Well, seeing as the headline act is as a band, it might have been nice to incorporate an image of the entire band
Yeah.
if you were choosing to do the image. Something I did say is that the headline act aren't particularly special.
Okay.
So they didn't have a longer slot. They just were the last performers.
Okay.
So you wouldn't necessarily have to include the headline act.
Okay.
If when Googling Amy and the Antelopes, nothing came up except pictures of antelopes, we know that they haven't got a large following.
This is in the additional information that Rebecca gave us when the cameras were
camera,
off.
Yes. This is part of the brief, so we'll mention bits of
Okay.
what you were told. The date is correct. The time is not.
What? No, it is.
It was 2 till 9:30.
Ah, flip.
What did you put?
2 till 9. But I mean, it's in age. I suppose you're being conscious of social distancing, and
Yeah,
in a way,
get 'em out,
there
get 'em
is-
out.
you've used some sans serif fonts there that aren't actually the same font. they look very similar, so I can understand why. It's not that someone else looking at the poster would necessarily notice they're not the same. It just looks a bit inconsistent. Like the spacing between the letters on one of the fonts is quite different. So it's just an inconsistency thing. That just prevents the poster looking too professional.
Oh dear. Well, that sucks, doesn't it?
I like that you used a template.
Thank you.
Designers don't generally use templates, but when you're not a designer,
Yeah.
don't
That
look.
wasn't the brief. That wasn't the brief.
When you're not a designer, using templates can be handy to make sure things look.
It would be best to use
sleeker.
something.
It gives you a basis
something,
when you've only got
yeah.
10 minutes to create something. I understand. Yeah, it makes sense. I just the display font, the funky one that you used.
Yeah.
It's not generically legible in all instances. It requires a bit of squinting, so that's something to be careful of when you make posters, is to make sure that your fonts are legible and that there's some kind of theme between them.
So thanks.
So
Thanks very much.
Yeah,
Aw.
no, but you've done a really good job.
Thank
And
you.
to be honest, probably one of the best non-designer posters
Thanks.
created
What-
I've seen so far.
What would you give Holly out of 10?
So on a scale of someone who doesn't create posters for a living, a solid 8.5. You've done very well.
I'd say it
Thank
was a
you.
9.
Oh, well,
Thanks,
wow.
Ed. Thank you so much.
I mean, I
Thanks.
think if you were
Thanks,
looking at it from the example of a graphic designer creating a poster, and versus you creating the poster, you'd probably be somewhere in the region of 4, maybe 5.
Significantly lower.
Depending on the designer you were up against, maybe 5.
Fine.
But no, you've done really well, and you've not put all of the bands on there, which is definitely a good thing, because it can become very overwhelming. A long list of names or a huge patch of logos can be really, really overwhelming on a poster. You don't know where to look. It's removed all your ability to fit branding on there. It just gets too much. So I like where you were going with it. I like your concept.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Have you got any questions for me?
No.
No.
I can't remember
I mean,
if I have it.
the
if I'm honest.
things there are things with like the spacing and things like where things are positioned, that don't necessarily
Okay, can we stop? Okay,
fit
it's fine.
too
it's
well.
fine.
But
Okay, stop.
that's
I'm
the
getting
app's
offended.
limitations.
Fine. I'm getting.
Oh,
Fine.
I don't want you to be offended.
I'm fine.
You've done really well.
Thank you. 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. 8.5 actually. I think.
8.5 out of 10. Fine. Let's do Edwards.
Here is
Would you
my-
like to show the camera again, seeing as you showed them too early?
There we go.
Can't fucking see it.
I'll put it in the screenshot as well. Put it in the screen.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
Give it to
so,
So, is there anything you'd like to tell me?
yes. Actually.
Okay.
So, coming from someone who has the condition of autistic spectrum disorder,
Right.
I like knowing all of the facts, and I like everything being very clear.
In which case, you probably should have put the date and time on. If we're going to play that card.
Now, you mentioned in the brief that this would be something that was on a website. So
I said it would be used on social media.
yeah, on social media. So, in fact, for example, if it was on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
you would have the event date and time on the actual event
Okay.
information.
I understand where you're coming from.
So, but
But
the
what I will say is, looking at it from the perspective of a viewer, if I saw a poster and it said the name of the pub, which is the location, the date and the time, and that there was this event going out in the garden, that would be sufficient information for me to click through to the Facebook page and find out who's playing, what kind of music it is, get a better vibe for it. Whereas if I saw that a pub is putting on an event, I have no idea when, with a big long list of names, and I don't recognise any of them because they're all small artists doing it for free to help out a charity. I wouldn't necessarily click through to find out when, personally. And I think for a lot of consumers, because I don't know that I'm going to be free, I'll think, I'll find out when that's happening. And then 3 weeks have gone by and so's the event. You put it off. Whereas with the date and the time, you think, I'm free on that Saturday. Let's find out more. So that's personally how I would be prioritising the information. I understand that you don't know the fame levels of the made-up artists that I gave you. They were all very made up, except Holly Beadell. Everyone else was rock band, the Kangaroos, Amy and the Antelopes.
Well, I changed up the name. I
saw that
a little bit. Holly B Side.
Yeah.
Well, then that's wrong
Amy
as well,
and
isn't it?
Yeah, Amy and the Antelopes has become the Antelopes.
So you've given the wrong information. It really hasn't you as well.
But he's got kitty cat and doggy dog on there.
Okay.
Those ones were easy.
Those ones were easy, yeah. I just think I like the diagonals can be very interesting and exciting. On apps like this, it's very difficult to get consistent diagonals. So I would be careful with that when you're using these apps.
Becca, may I say something that I don't like about that?
Poster,
That I've
yeah.
just
The
realised.
poster you've done
What you've
yourself.
created, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
go for it.
I don't like the fact that all the text has become quite transparent, which
Yes.
wasn't something that I intended
No, it
to
wasn't.
happen originally.
I think with the
I think
strong background as well,
Yeah.
it makes it even harder that if the text had become slightly transparent and you had a less patterned background, it wouldn't be so difficult to read. I think the only ones that have come transparent are the ones at the top here. These ones are solid. It's just because the dots are so much down here.
If anything, then that's
confusing.
that makes it easier to read.
I wouldn't say I could read that. I would
dyslexic.
say, well, it would
I wouldn't say
appeal
I
to
could read
everybody.
that.
Appeal to everybody, not just people that are not dyslexics.
Yeah, but we might. But the charity. Oh.
Okay, what are you going to give Ed?
I'm not
okay.
upset that you didn't mention the charity, though, to be fair. This is a charity that the pub are currently supporting that you don't know the name of. You don't want to give people the wrong information or the wrong idea.
What are you going to give him out of 10?
I just want to make another point.
Okay,
please.
there's loads of points being made. Okay, fine. Sorry, I have to move this along. Sorry, that's my job. Sorry.
That's the last thing I wanted to say is that at the bottom corner here we've got a watermark that the app has automatically added. On this particular app, you can remove the watermark without upgrading. So it's always worth checking. A lot of apps you can't remove the watermark without paying them lots of money. But it's always worth checking. If you're able to remove the watermark, it makes a big difference. Because it just professionalism wise. I mean, if this was a full-on punk event, I've seen worse punk posters, less legible punk posters. The punk posters don't generically have to be hugely legible. I keep using the word generic because it's the name of the pub. They don't have to be hugely legible. It's part of the fun of them. So I can see where it's come from and why.
He's done it deliberately to the camera. Put the mic up.
So yeah, I'm still proud of you, Ed, for giving it a go.
What are you giving him out of 10?
Thank you.
And who won, most importantly?
I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice and give Ed a 5. On the musician scale one. I'm not gonna rate him on the other one.
Oh,
Because I did really well.
Yes, because you might put me out of a job.
Poor Ed.
No, I think you did. Yeah, a solid 5, a 50. 50% isn't bad, is it?
Thank you very much.
I
don't like wearing these headphones anymore. I've taken
Okay.
them off.
Okay, as long as you can still hear us, that's fine.
Sorry?
But I think Holly might have won, but she has got the unfair advantage of living with a graphic designer, so we'll give it that. I'm going to give an example. Holly's asked me to give an example. I'm not being vain. And I'm not saying that this is the most fantastic poster in the world, for the record. But the example of the poster that we made, or I made, for the charity event that actually happened, that had a similar brief, I will show that here.
And then we'll also put it in the thing.
Yes, I must show it to this one. There you go. Just slide it on.
Slide it on.
Ow!
in.
Careful.
There you go.
Push it on forward.
Well, that's it.
I can't
That's as far-
fucking see what it is.
Okay. So that's the poster series that I created for this outdoor event. They had the same level of information, though their information was generic. They had the same level of information as I had when creating these.
I'll show it
Um,
so you can look.
The name The Live Garden Showcase hadn't been presented to me. That was something that I made up, similar to Holly's Novemberosity.
Yeah, I made that up.
Yeah, so I did a similar thing, and I gave it a name for branding, so that it had a strong brand going forward for the future events to come. And I think the key to those posters is the consistency and simplicity. It gives you the important information.
I just also want to say, if there's one, because we're not doing obviously Ed's 3-point plan.
Can I have a 3-point plan?
You can have 1-point plan because
Please, can I have a 3-point
you can.
plan?
I need the toilet and Ed needs a cigarette. But yeah,
Can you tell?
I'll do it.
We're like, oh.
No,
And
it's
we got-
okay. I'll do a swift 3-point
Okay,
plan.
hang on. Is this the right one? Hang on. Yes, it is.
Yes.
I like it. Oh, it's
Okay,
fancy.
So this is Becca's 3-point plan.
As approved by
As approved by Ed.
Ed. So point 1, I'm going to be all official about this because this is what Ed does. Point 1, we're going to go with simplicity.
Yes.
Simplicity just makes everything easier to absorb, and
Yeah.
minimal tends to look more professional. Only give the information you have to. Otherwise, you've got no hook. You've got no reason to draw someone into the website, into the Facebook page. All of those fantastic things. Point two is colours. If you're contrasting colours, do it with purpose. Don't just throw random colours on a page and hope for the best.
Do it with purpose.
There is a great, if you have to do it yourself, if you really won't pay a student designer to do it for a £5, there's a really great tool. It's called Adobe Colour Wheel. I don't personally use it, but I know some designers even who use it to help them when they're stuck on a particular colour and they want to change it up a bit. And you can find good colour schemes through there. And if you don't have necessarily the eye to get the perfect colour code that matches another, that can be a valuable tool for you.
Is he okay?
I think so. I think he's really struggling with the fact that he hasn't got the attention of the 3-point plan.
Oh.
Are you okay?
Sorry, I've got something stuck in my throat.
Point 3.
The third point is consistency. Whether it's just in the style you create for your band or act or yourself, you want to be recognisable. Like, brand awareness is a really big thing, especially with music. So you want someone to look at something that doesn't even necessarily have your name on it and think it might be you or know it's you. You can do that with colour, with style, with very subtle things that give your things you-ness.
Okay. Thank you. And that
those
was
were very nice points.
Thank you
that was
kindly.
Becca's 3-point plan for graphic design.
As approved by Ed.
Okay, well that's literally Ed, my friend. You've got to break these, and you're paying, not me. So thank you everybody for joining us. We're going to
you
wrap
very
this up
much.
really quick, and then we're going to press a button that hopefully is the button that we're supposed to press.